Welcome to another episode of the STR Sisterhood. I'm your host, Stacy St, and I am so delighted to be spending a few minutes with you today. Now, before we jump into this episode, you know what I'm going to do, girl. I am going to read you a quote that I recently read that resonated with me. And it says, "I don't focus on what I'm up against. I focus on my goals and I try to ignore the rest." Those powerful words come to us from tennis champion Venus Williams. Now, in this episode, we are sitting down with a dear friend of mine, Candice Menard, and we are talking all about how she has injected unreasonable hospitality into her business and how she's used that mantra to actually generate new streams of income. So without further ado, let's jump into my conversation with Candice. So today we are joined by someone near and dear to my heart, Candice Menard. Candice, thanks so much for being here.
You are so welcome. I'm thrilled to be with you this morning.
We are going to have all kinds of fun conversation about the topic of unreasonable hospitality and what that is really meant to you in your business. Before we dive into that, though, why don't we just share with our listeners a little bit about who you are and where you operate your short-term rental business?
So I'm Candice Menard, and I am in the city of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Not a whole lot of people know about Lake Charles, Louisiana. So just for reference, I am pretty much in between New Orleans, Louisiana, and Houston, Texas, like right in the middle along the coast. So that's where I'm located. That is where the majority of the homes that I manage are there. So we have 11 in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and we have one lonely house in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. So just one state away.
Amazing. And how did you get into the short-term rental business to begin with? I mean, I know this story, but just so that our viewers and listeners have some context.
Sure. So I started out in long-term property management. So traditional unfurnished rentals, that is my background, and that's where I started. Then I kind of shifted along the way into the mid-term, short-term space. So originally it was long-term traditionals, and then we just kind of evolved over time into what the business is today, which is the combination of all three, really the combination of all three of them.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you have put things into your business that give you flexibility to serve people in different ways. I want to dive into the concept of unreasonable hospitality. You know that it is one of my favorite books. I know it really resonated with you as well. Talk to me about what stood out to you about the concept of unreasonable hospitality when you first learned about it.
Absolutely. So I love the book Unreasonable Hospitality, and just that extra that some people go through to provide the best experiences for their guests, whichever industry that may be in. So for me, whenever I read Unreasonable Hospitality, it was like a light bulb that went off inside me. Like, this is me. This is what I want to provide to our guests, no matter how long they're staying with us. So always wanting to anticipate their needs before they actually have the needs, and always do our very best to accommodate above and beyond, not just what they want and need, but really the next level of that, anticipating it, and then solving their problems before they even realize that they had a problem to begin with.
Yeah, I love that. And I think the other piece that's so important is having a very distinct, clear understanding of your ideal guest so that you can anticipate their needs. I know that that has become even more clear for you, even in the last 12 months. Talk to us a little bit about how you gained that additional clarity of, wow, okay, this is exactly the person I want to be serving in my business.
Absolutely. So Stacy, whenever I first started, I thought we were a good fit for anyone who needed a home, whether it was for midterm stays, short-term stays. I really felt that I could serve anyone. Now, along the way, things got really clear on I understand now that I am only looking for guests that are looking for us. So that means to me is we really cater our homes now to our ideal guests. And that way we are specifically speaking their language. We are providing what they need as they're scrolling through the multitude of homes that are available. Whenever they get to ours, the goal is for them to stop and be like, oh, this is exactly what I need. There is no question. And then once they stay with us, and if they have repeat business that comes, because we do have a lot of travelers that are workers, there will be no question in their mind who they're going to stay with on the next visit. Like, that is my goal to remove any question in their mind of, okay, this company, these people, they take care of us no matter what is needed. And so that has evolved. Like, okay, now I really understand who I want to serve when they are coming to our areas, and really cater to that with everything, with our copy, with our pictures, with our amenities. So it has really been an interesting journey, because I thought, oh, anyone. But then I realized I'm only looking for the people that are looking for us, and we're not for everyone. And that's okay. That's okay.
Yes, absolutely. I'm curious, how did you hone in on, oh, it is the local folks who are coming to work. Those are the people I want to serve. How did you find clarity? Did it just hit you like a light bulb? What happened that was the impetus for you gaining that additional clarity?
Sure. So originally, whenever I first started in the furnished space, again, my background is in long-term. So midterm or monthly stays were more comfortable to me than short-term stays. And so whenever I had an available house at the very beginning, one of my friends said, well, why don't you put the house on Airbnb? And I looked at her probably like she had three eyes, because I was not familiar with the concept. Meaning I had not stayed at any Airbnbs up to that point, and thought, no, I'm not a hotel. Like, that's not what I am. So why would I put it on Airbnb? So I learned along the way that once I did put that particular house on Airbnb, my very first booking was actually from a work crew that needed a place for a month. And so I was like, okay, that's interesting. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting more of a shorter term stay. And so that's where the original kind of light bulb went off. But it did take a while to gain some traction and momentum in that area of, short-term, midterm rental. So the light bulb kind of went off dim at first. And then along the way, as more guests, inquired, and then more guests stayed. And it was just an evolution of these are our ideal guests. Like, we have our top 3 types of guests that we really want to cater to. Not to say that we won't cater to shorter term stays or people visiting for the weekend or coming to visit family. It's not that we are against it. It's just that we have found in that niche from the experience of guests staying with us that really is what I truly enjoy about the day.
I love that. And I'm curious, what are some of the ways that you have been able to bring that unreasonable hospitality to life? How do you anticipate the needs, or what are some of the things that you're providing to the workers for them to say, oh, wow, I don't ever want to stay with anyone else when I come to Lake Charles?
Yeah. So I really think it starts at the beginning. So what we are presenting to the world is number one. And then number two is our communication style and speed. So for me, it is so important for us to have a very quick response time. My guideline is 15 minutes or less from the initial inquiry of anyone. Any guest, my goal is to respond to that guest within 15 minutes as the first initial response. And then if there was a complicated situation, I want that resolved as far as what we have available, how can they book with us within 2 hours. So those are my guidelines of speed. Speed is so important to me in communication. So I feel that is a very solid base first. And then once they actually stay with us, we do continue the communication along the way. We do check-ins to make sure everything is exactly what they, want along the way. And then, of course, the communication continues after their stay as well. Now, before they actually stay with us, before they check in, we also send them a form. So it is a pre-arrival form, and we send that to them to gather more information about their particular stay. That way we can come up with creative ideas to make that even more special or easier for them. So just for an instance, for the workers, like we provide room darkening curtains because workers don't always work the day shift. Sometimes they work the night shift. So we provide that as one of the things it's in all of our bedrooms and in all of our houses. And then we provide a space for them exterior wise. So an area to sit and congregate with amongst each other if they are workers or family. And so we provide those little extra touches. And then once we get that information back from their form, then we know how we can best cater. Sometimes we'll leave boudin balls, which is a local favorite food of ours. And we'll leave that for them with a note. Thank you for choosing us. They chose us for their stay. So gratitude is where we start. We are grateful that they chose us because there are many choices. And then once they experience the stay, then our communication, I believe, is important. And then we also follow up with them after the stay as well.
Yeah. I love that you have taken this approach to speed in communication. There are all of these gurus out there that tell you in order to make X amount of dollars or get 5-star reviews, you have to have all these elaborate things. And I believe that providing excellent world-class customer service is the best way to get those 5-star reviews. I will tell you, I have never provided an ounce of coffee in any of my properties, and I get 5-star reviews hand over fist, right? So if you are listening to someone who tells you you have to provide X, Y, and Z, when it comes to items in your property, just know that an asset and the most valuable asset you can have in your hosting arsenal is your speed of communications. Now, I'm curious, Candice, are you using AI for the speed of communication? I know I personally not yet have gone the AI route because I have a team of people who support our guests 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I do realize, though, there are significant business efficiencies, operational efficiencies that can be driven from AI. Tell me about if and how you are utilizing AI when it comes to those guest communications.
Sure. So we use more of a hybrid approach. So like we're doing a hybrid midterm, monthly stays, and short-term stays. We also use that in our communication. So I have an amazing concierge team for guest communications, and we utilize that 100%. Now, sometimes they are not on shift. So I don't have the 24/7 on shift concierge team like you were mentioning, Stacy. So we do use a tool called Host Buddy AI, and we have trained Host Buddy AI in our practices. That way, Host Buddy can respond. However, we do defer to a team member with the complicated situations that we're not necessarily, expecting AI to be able to handle everything. So I do think it is a tool in the arsenal, but I don't think it's the only tool in the arsenal. Yeah. In addition to those two things, we also use a 24-hour answering service. So an after-hours answering service where someone can call a number when they're staying on our property if there's an issue and they need assistance right away. And then that would page the person that's on call to handle any issues like that. So for overall, I would say a hybrid approach has been very successful for us. And, a team, myself, we have Host Buddy AI, and then an after hours emergency answering service. So a hybrid approach to that.
Yeah, I love that. And I love hearing about your systems and setup because so often I see that people just say, oh, I have Host Buddy, I don't need to do anything anymore, right? And I think keeping your finger on the pulse of what your guests are saying, making sure that you are providing multiple ways for them to reach out to you, that you are proactively training your AI assistant or any other tech that you've got happening in your business with regard to guest communications is so important. So it's not just a set it and forget it, right?
It is definitely not a set it and forget it. We're always improving, how we respond, AI or humans, right?
Yeah.
All of it. So we are all evolving, but it is definitely not a set it and forget it. And I feel that the hybrid approach is the best approach for unreasonable hospitality.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Love it. Love it. Now, I'm curious, when you talk about unreasonable hospitality and anticipating guest needs, how has this evolved in your business? I know you have Travel Like a Saint, which I'm so excited to ask you about. So your hosting business is called Rent It Like a Saint, and your travel business is called Travel Like a Saint. Talk to me about how the concept of unreasonable hospitality has actually helped you expand your service offering.
Absolutely. So whenever I was on a trip and really had time to kind of think and introspect about the business, where it's been, where it is, and where it's going for Rent It Like a Saint for our furnished rental homes, I thought, how else can we help our guests? How else? What else can we do? And so the concept of Travel Like a Saint came up in my mind. And I thought, what could be a wonderful service to offer to our guests that need to travel back and forth from their hometown, wherever they live, specifically for our workers again, if they need to travel back and forth. So how can we help them? And so the concept of Travel Like a Saint was born. And I thought, not only can we help them travel back and forth to their homes when they do take their vacation after they're through working, we can also assist with Disney vacations for them, for, all-inclusive adults only if they would like that, in wherever they want to go. My favorite place is Cancun, the all-inclusive adult only in Cancun, Mexico. That's my favorite. And so just thought, this is another arm of the unreasonable hospitality that we can implement. So I came back from that trip, and within 3 weeks, I had signed up, done all the proper paperwork, taken all the correct courses, passed all the tests to offer Travel Like a Saint in conjunction with Rent It Like a Saint.
I love it so much. I love it. Now, if you know Candice, you will not be surprised that girlfriend had everything set up in 3 weeks, because this girl that we're talking to is a go-getter, a goal-getter. She is someone who commits to something and gets it done. And so I just want you as a watcher or a listener to take inspiration. Candice didn't decide she wanted to do something and then hawed around about it. She decided and she took action right away. And that's the way she lives her daily life, right? I know that about you because I have the good fortune of seeing you regularly. I want to ask you how you are sharing Travel Like a Saint with your guests, and what has that feedback been like?
So we share it in multitude of ways. So not only do we let our current guests know about our new service at Travel Like a Saint through our messaging platform in our PMS, our property management system, we also use signs inside the home itself in case, the person that books the house. Typically, there's others that go along with that first guest. So we have signs in the house that way everyone knows about it as well. And then we use social media as the tool to be able to, let people know what services we offer besides the home itself. And so that's how we've expanded in multitude of ways, and really positive feedback. Shockingly, people are surprised that we offer additional services besides just the home itself. We can provide transportation. We can provide, insurance for the travel. We can provide a rental car if they need to. We can arrange airfare. So it's kind of an all-in-one package that is at their fingertips if they choose to use it and need it.
I love it. And the other thing too is it helps create that stickiness with your guests, knowing, oh, wow, Candice and her team, they can help support me. They really have thought of everything for my stay. So it creates a level of stickiness for when they come back to visit Lake Charles or work in Lake Charles again. As you mentioned, they're automatically going to think of you. And for your business, it has provided an additional income stream or revenue stream. And if you know anything about me, I love multiple streams of income. I'm curious, what systems did you have to have in place in Rent It Like a Saint in order to give you the freedom to spend time, energy, and focus building out that new part of your business?
Sure, absolutely. So I really feel that it comes down to the basics of the property management system within Rent It Like a Saint. So whenever I started this journey several years ago, I decided I needed to find the best PMS property management system for me and my business at that time. And so I did a lot of research up front on what would be the best system to work for the needs that I have currently and in the future. So I did a lot of research in a lot of my groups and masterminds and programs and came to top 3 of what companies that I wanted to interview for, this important, structure. Like it is the basic of everything else. And so one of the top 3 was Hostfully. And so I interviewed Hostfully along with 2 others and chose Hostfully as the PMS. And I'm really happy that I did. And there has been no regrets on that. I know some people, change from property management systems to another to kind of bounce around. And that is not something that I wanted to do. I wanted to really find one that was going to fit our needs and in the future. Chose that one and went with Hostfully for the property management system. And then they also offer guidebooks as well. And so I chose to do the guidebooks as well through Hostfully as well.
So good. And I think it's so important, as you mentioned, that you chose the PMS that was right for you. And sitting down and making sure that you know what you're looking for when you are searching for a property management software is step 1, right? And secondarily, I love that you mentioned that you were looking for something that was going to be right for you at the time and into the future, because our portfolios grow, our businesses evolve. And so I believe, like you, that if you think about, okay, these are my needs today, but this is where I want to take my business, and these are going to be my needs in the future, so that you can make a selection that serves you for years to come versus that whack-a-mole, hop around, shall we say.
Yes, I did not want to hop around. I wanted something that I knew was going to work. And so, yes, 100% happy with Hostfully.
So good. So good. I want to ask you really quickly about in your local market, standing out within your local market. I know that you obviously are looking for ways that you support your hosts, but another thing that I know about you is you are supporting your local community as well. Talk to me a little bit about what you're doing to help your local community members know that you exist.
Absolutely. So I went to a seminar not too long ago. It was the Louisiana Travel Summit. And apparently it goes every year in different cities. And it just happened to be in my city particularly. And I thought, this is interesting. Let me go to this and learn, because I'm all about continual learning. So I went to the summit, and one of the activities was to go to 3 different restaurants in our local area and taste and sample. And so while I was there, I was also strategically thinking of how can I support these businesses? 2 of the 3 were really close to the majority of our properties. One, and that last one is not far away. So I thought, how can I support local businesses? And so I talked with either the management staff or the owner while I was there during this time after they shared their history and how their businesses, got started, because these were also small businesses, and wanting to connect with them and provide some kind of, gift cards to our guests. That way they could go and use the local restaurants or bars or whatever it is and help support them while we have, workers here working in our area. So that's the most recent example of literally on the spot. Like, I wasn't planning to do that. It's just at our first stop. And by the way, I had a raw oyster at one of the restaurants, and I had two choices. One was the raw oyster, and then the other one was cooked. And so I thought, in my mind, let me do the raw one first, and then I'll do the other one, because it has to be better, right? Because raw just is like, well, I got the first down, which was the raw one, and I did not make it to the second one. That's a unique taste and experience. So all that to say is, I really didn't plan to connect with those businesses. It just came to me while we were on the bus ride over to the restaurants. I was like, wouldn't it be great if I could figure out a way to help support the local businesses?
Yes. And again, I just want to highlight, the way that you're thinking is so important. And I want our listeners and watchers to mimic that, because Candice is proactively thinking 3 steps ahead. She's not just operating in the moment. She's thinking 3 steps ahead, because she not only wants to serve her guests in a more enhanced way, but she's thinking, what can I do to build relationships in my local community? Because relationships is where referrals come from, right? And so it becomes a very cohesive circle of trust, circle of referrals, circle of additional business and income for you. I love that. I love that so much. I wouldn't have even tried the raw oyster. Okay. I would have been like, can I have some mozzarella sticks to try, please?
Yeah, been funny. Yeah. So they were talking about the oysters and where they came from. And here's the word that they used that triggered me to even be open to it. They're like, these are little boutique oysters. And, they're grown here and they're done this and this. And it's not gritty like the traditional oysters are. And I'm like, okay, let me put my adventure hat on and let me try it. And instead of going for the one that was cooked and sauced up, right, I went for the raw one. And that was not the best choice if I'm going to try the second one, because I didn't make it. I gave my second one away, the one that was cooked and fancied up. So yeah, I put my adventurous hat on, but then maybe that wasn't the best decision on the way to do them.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I want to ask you for some practical advice. If there's anyone listening who loves the idea of incorporating unreasonable hospitality into their businesses, whether it is through providing a service or expanding their business, what advice would you give to them for them to be able to hone in on what their next steps are?
Sure. So first, I would say to kind of go into yourself and ask yourself, what do you really want to provide and why? Like, get that information first and then move on to what else can I do? What else? So it's not about doing the least amount possible. It's what else can I do to enhance the experience that is in the realm of what I can provide. So that would kind of be my first thing, is to find it in with yourself. What's important to you, and make that clear within you. And then go and find your who's to help you make that happen. And another book that I absolutely love is Who, Not How. And so I've incorporated that wholeheartedly, that, okay, can I do everything? Maybe, but probably not well.
Right.
So let me do the things that I'm good at, and then find the who's that can help me make these connections, or who's that can make this happen for the particular goal to provide unreasonable hospitality, whatever that may look like. It doesn't necessarily going to look like what I provide or what you provide, Stacy. It's going to be whatever it's important to them and what does it mean to them. and then look at your ideal guests and figure out that puzzle piece. I don't want to say that it's easy and you just, get a book and it applies to you no matter what the topic is or the suggestion. Or it's really not the case. You have to put the puzzle pieces together. What's important to you? What's important to your guests? Find your who's that can make that connection to get your puzzle piece complete. And then just continue learning and continue making improvements to whatever you are providing, because it isn't, nothing is a one and done. Nothing is a forget it after you set it up. It is a continual process. And to know that going in, that way you have the proper expectations of how you're going to make it happen, that you understand that it really is it's a progress. It is not a start and finish. You continue and continue to grow and continue to grow and continue to learn. And so maybe not looking at the failures as failures, but looking at them as learning experiences. Okay, this didn't work. Let me tweak it to make it work for the future.
Such great advice. Such great advice. And I also think, again, it's so important to highlight what you said about finding something that you're passionate about, because Candice and I could sit here and rattle off all these additional things that you could do to enhance your guest stay. But if you're not passionate about it, it's not going to have the energy or momentum that you need for it to really take off. And so I think it's so important to offer the things that really light you up internally, because that energy is going to come through, right, to your guests, and it's going to naturally and organically grow your business instead of you putting a square peg into a round hole,
100%.
So good. So good. All right, Candice, I want to move to the lightning round. Okay.
Let's move to the lightning round.
Okay. So, I'm going to ask you to answer with the very first thing that comes to mind. I know you already mentioned this, but where's your favorite place to vacation?
My favorite place to vacation is Cancun, Mexico. Yeah, an adult only, all-inclusive resort. Not just any resort, not just any place, but that is my favorite place to visit.
And would you mind if I share this? Candice is a member of our Achievers Club and our Accelerator family. And Candice set a goal for herself that she was going to travel to Cancun once a quarter. And you have kept that goal. And I am so proud of you and a little envious as well, because I'm thinking I need to make that my goal for next year. That is such a great idea, to put a goal around your leisure and your travel. What made you come up with that quarterly travel to Cancun to begin with?
Right. Yeah. So I thought, I work hard, play hard. That is my motto. I work hard, I learn, I continue to grow. And I was missing kind of the play hard part. And I was just continuing to work. So I thought, why not put it on my quarterly KPIs to go vacation quarterly? Why not? Who is going to stop me from putting it on there? And who is going to stop me from making it happen? So that's where it originally came from, is I need that break. And it's so interesting that during those breaks, whenever I am away, I still continue what I call my morning routine. So I get up and I do certain things in the morning. I have my list of things. One of the things that I do is the 90-day Momentum Maker workbook that you created, Stacy. So I continue to do that even when I am on vacation. I continue my morning routine. And I have found that when I am in that relaxed state of those quarterly trips, new ideas come to me. And then I come home refreshed and ready to implement those.
Yes. Love it so much. So much. And it's interesting. I've shared this before, that my 90-day Momentum Maker, before it was in print, which was the accompanying book to Live Big, I did it myself. I created it and had it on a Google Doc. And I am a pen and paper girl. I love to write because it helps me process in a different way. And I recently was getting to the end of my 90-day Momentum Maker, and I just got home from a trip. I was visiting Myrtle Beach, And I'd forgotten that I had ordered my own book on Amazon, my own 90-day momentum maker. And I went upstairs and I'm like, what is this book in a box? Oh, it's my own book. It was just very kind of weird and fun at the same time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then I am on my second, because I ordered 4 of your momentum makers to go along with the book. Of course, I ordered the book and got it autographed, as you know. But I ordered 4 of them. That way I had them readily available. No excuses. Like, I finished one. I'm in the middle of my second 90-day momentum maker, and I do it almost every day. No matter the circumstance. I won't say every single day, but I do it almost every day as my morning routine.
You know, one of the things that I find is most difficult about that is the question, how am I showing up for myself today? What question do you find most difficult?
I find most difficult is, how am I serving other people that day? So it's really, I know that I serve other people, but to pinpoint that day, who am I serving? For me, serving myself and doing things for myself, the morning routine is on there every single day because I'm doing the morning routine. And then I have my exercise routine that I do, and I have classes that I teach. So, those are things that are easy because they're already pre-planned. It's a part of, how am I serving someone else today?
I love that. But it makes you think and makes you proactive about it, right?
It does. It does. And then I'm like, okay, I need to reach out. I need to, express gratitude for this person, check on this person. So it does make me think, but that is the hardest finding the questions that I answer each morning.
So good. All right. Next question. Where's one place you've never been that you want to visit?
One place I've never been that I want to visit would be Italy. So that is on the list to do. That comes down from a line of my mother's mother, my grandmother. I was going to go there almost 30 years ago, and it didn't work out for us to go together. And so that is something that I have always wanted to do and haven't done it yet.
Well, it is pretty darned amazing. So I can vouch for that. I spent some time in Italy earlier this year and loved every minute of it. As you might imagine, the food and wine are to die for. So, and I might be in your suitcase when you go. So let me know.
It's big enough. Believe me, it's big enough. And I bring enough of them so you could fit easily.
I love it. Actually, I do know your suitcase is big enough. So good. All right. Next question. What's one thing you know now that you wished you knew when you were starting out in the world of either short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, or introducing unreasonable hospitality into your business?
Such a good question, because there's so much that I've learned along the way. I would say understanding that you're only looking for the people that are looking for you. I love that. I love that because it reinforces I can't make everyone happy. And I'm really only looking for the people that are looking for us and our unreasonable hospitality style. So that's kind of the one that is sticking out for me that,
Absolutely. All right, next question. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
The best piece of advice. Gosh, that is such a hard one as well, because there's so much good advice that I have received. I think the best piece is whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So it teaches you how to be resilient and come back. So that is my take on it. Whatever you're going through, there's a reason and a purpose for it. And there's a learning experience somewhere along the way. You just have to be open to hearing it.
Yes. And I think so often it's easy for people when they're going through a difficult time to think, why is this happening? Why me? And they're spending their energy, I'm not going to say complaining, but thinking negatively about the negative situation. And I would encourage anyone, if and when you go through negative situations, because we all will.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that don't experience the pain. They are painful sometimes. They're extremely difficult. And I don't want to, gloss over that. However, I think if we can, as people, in the midst of those times, proactively look for opportunities to learn or look for opportunities to find good our perspective can shift much faster, right?
Correct. Yeah. And then help other people from your experience.
Yes, exactly. Pay it forward. Pay it forward.
Oh.
All right. Last question. What's one thing and or person that you're grateful for today?
Today, I am so grateful for my team. So I could not be where I am today without the team in place. It includes my son, Justin Menard, and it includes various other members of the team, either locally or internationally. And without the team, I would not be here. And it took a while to understand that because I was used to working independently before I had a team. So I've been an entrepreneur for most of my life. And so I thought I could do everything and do it well. And what I learned is I can try to do everything, but it's not going to all be done well and to my expectations and standard. So to be open to having a team and for them to support me in order to support our guests, in order to provide that unreasonable hospitality.
I remember having that discussion with you a few years ago now, and I just want to say how proud I am of you in your own evolution, because I remember you and I having that discussion, like, I'm used to doing everything myself, and how do I get out of that, right? And to watch that come to life for you, but also to watch your own commitment to being the best team lead possible and serving your team, I think is inspiring for everyone. So kudos to you, girlfriend. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. That means a tremendous amount, Stacy. You have seen my journey from the beginning, from this midterm, short-term, journey that I have been on. I saw an ad on Facebook for your summit, your online summit several years ago. And I am so grateful that I pushed that button to go to the next page to find out more and to attend your summit and then to learn from you. To learn from you the things that I have learned, it has helped me grow much faster than I would have just trying to figure it all out myself. So thank you so much for what you do for me and my team and everyone else that you come in contact with. Truly, I am grateful for you as well.
Oh, well, thank you. That means the world to me. And I'm equally grateful for the opportunity, right? Equally grateful. Candice, so good. If someone wants to learn more about you or wants to book a trip, where is the best place for them to find you online?
Absolutely. So we're on all the socials. And then, of course, the website for the furnished rentals, it is Travel Like a Saint, because I am a New Orleans Saint girl and fan. And then for the travel part, it is Travel Like a Saint.
Rent it like a saint for the rentals, travel like a saint for the travels. Love it. Love it. Love it. Candice, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Stacy. It was so much fun. Until next time.
Until next time.